it's quite hard. Like, and everything has to done through the government procurement protocols. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I will be able to like because things are not under my control when it comes to procurement. So and it's
No,
and
you of course you need a support because you. I understand the for the all developing countries and the least developed country, it is not a easy task to do just in a few months or few years. It will take time. I understand.
and if it was like some sort of independent project that manages the fund, then probably it will be much more streamlined. But I think there was some flaw in the project design itself. Like they just send the money to the government account
Yeah.
and ask to follow the government procurement, which is typically not what we expect
Yeah.
for this kind of studies. So because they do like they build road and build bridges, but not such kind of
Yeah.
studies. Yeah,
Because this
it's
is not a priority for the all the governments, and they even not understand this is the kind of the because they have signed the Paris Agreement, they have to follow this. Not everyone is aware about this, so it's a issue for all the countries, not for the Nepal.
and
And
it's
of course, the all the person involved in the in government, they actually this is the side duty of them. Their main duty is they report to the government. They are doing the government job,
yeah,
but we have also this kind of work, so it's difficult because unless you set up the different center for this preparing this kind of report, this will be difficult for every government person.
yeah, because there are always other things that
Yeah.
are priorities than this, so it's rather quite difficult. So yeah.
And the I understand the CBIT project is started with the WWBS, but have you started the BTR project? It is
No,
with
it's actually we have seen this agreement, P project agreement, but I think the UNEP would normally take 3 months to respond to emails. So I don't, and even if they respond early, I think it will put pressure on me to start the procurement. So I feel
yeah.
really they are
Yeah.
really slow. They will take 3 months. I know that, so
Yes.
it's fine.
Yeah. The UNEP Nairobi team, I am aware about that. So
Yeah,
I
I know.
think only FAO is the active. They take around two or half. Otherwise, UNDP or UNEP both will take same time.
Yeah, and FAO seems to be doing quite good. At least that what seems to me because looking at the all the documentation and manuals they come up
Yeah.
with, probably.
And some countries in our Asia region also started with the work with like Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. They have started work with FAO. So and FAO has also some good support from the agriculture part. So if a country needs support specifically to FAO sector, they have a good expertise in that.
Yeah.
So let me admit now around 2-3 minutes are remaining. So there are 3-4 people are in the lobby.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi Rajan.
Hi, Jaipal. How are you?
Yeah, I am good. Thank you for joining today.
It's my pleasure. So since like you have already included me as a speaker, so it's my
Yeah, yeah.
due responsibility to be part of this program.
Yes, yes. You are the now future of the CBIT project and also the transparency.
Yes.
So CBIT project is completely now operational or it will take time?
Not yet. So we are hoping that like by the next month, like it will be started. So some like formalities are still going on. So maybe like by next month, like we will get a like an endorsement from the ministry, and then we will formally start the project.
Yeah. Yeah, I was talking to Siva that I think BTR project they have also applied. So when the BTR one project is also come and with CBIT project, I think it's a good kind of support for the Nepal. But it will take time, of course, because in 1 year, I think it's a different and a big task to complete in a 1 year. For the BTR, it will be difficult.
Yeah, like actually like for the BTR, like we really need to implement the CBIT because it is the basis, like, and it will ultimately support BTR, and it will also generate some kind of evidences and also the reporting mechanism as well. So yeah, we are also hoping that like once the CBIT get started, then it will ultimately support BTR, and maybe
Yeah.
in couple of year, like we will be able to share some level of information on BTR to the UNFCCC Secretariat. Yeah.
Yes. Good. Colleagues, I think I can wait around maybe 2 more minutes. So if people are coming, so then I can start. Because I can see there are some new people is joining now.
Yes, I'm at least waiting for a group to appear.
Okay. Hi Santa. Thank you for joining today. And also thank you for I think you are joining the our previous webinars also.
Hello, everyone. I'm audible.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes, yes.
yeah, we are here.
Okay, then let me start. I think around 10 people have joined. So thank you everyone. So my name is Jaipal. I am handling the Asia region activity under the CBIT GSP project. So CBIT GSP project is the kind of a transparency project where we provide support to all developing countries, specifically to improve the transparency. And this is the project run by the UNEP Copenhagen Climate Center, and the JEP is the our boss. So this is the kind of the different entity work under the JEP, and the UNEP is the executive agency for this project. So we kind of doing this kind of webinars to support the all developing countries and the least developed countries in the Asia region after receiving the kind of request from the countries. So we are in the talk with the Ministry of Environment, and uh, during our discussion, they informed that there is a requirement of the national inventory management system, which can be set up in the Nepal. So we thought that we can give some initial introduction and the all the information about related to the new thing, the ETF from the MRB. So this is the webinar that we cover. Let me. So this is the agenda. The first I will giving some introduction. This first presentation is about the all the ETF and MPG requirement. Second is about the importance of the national inventory management system. Then Santa, I think, presenting from the Ministry of Forest and Nepal regarding about the what is the plan of ministries. Then Rajan will take over and inform about the CBIT project overview that recently has started, and that in the end, I will show you some example about what are the international example from the South Korea, Japan, Australia, or how they have set up, and just through a infographic. And then we will end. So there is a between, I have kept the one session for the half an hour to discuss everything. This is a general session where you can speak anything, any doubt you can clear. So let me stop sharing this, and I think all of them are here. So let me first start with the one small exercise. So what I can do, it is called a Mentimeter. So where you can, let me post the link of the Mentimeter. So you just have to click this link, and one website will open where you can vote for the each question. So it's like voting for the answers, or like, so if there is no answer, you can start answer. Let me share that screen also so you can see. Okay, so if you are not able to click the link, then you can scan this QR code to your mobile or anything. Okay, so the first question is, from which institute, department, organization, agency are you working or you are joined from today? So this is just for our information that we can understand there are the different person from the different institute has joined today. Yeah. Yes, it's a good thing that university people has also joined. Yes. Okay. Good. I think we have around more than 10, 11, 12 people, so it's a good thing. So the second question is about the uh, area where you want to learn something about. So if you are aware about anything, like if you are working in the BURs or national communication, then you are aware about that this is the kind of area where we need some capacity building, or we need some kind of workshop or webinars. Yes, so I can see some response that greenhouse gas and the NDC. Yes, these two are the common capacity building question for the all the Asia region. And actually, this question will support the Rajan to identify the area of needs for the Nepal. Yeah, so yes, I can see the greenhouse gas inventory. So this, yes, for the today's webinar, we are covering this part, not completely, but the overview, and you will get to know that, yeah, so these are the part in the greenhouse gas inventory where we need improvement, or maybe we have to build our capacity during preparation of the BTR. Okay, so let me stop this. I will do this exercise again at the end of the presentation, at the end of webinar. So for just for your feedback. And now it's time for your good picture. So I need a beautiful smiling picture from you. So kindly turn on your camera for 1 or 2 minutes so I can take a good screenshot. Yes, we are only 10, 12 people. So I am requesting everyone to turn on your camera. Maybe some people will take time to prepare. Yeah, so let me take the first shot. Aarti is also here. I know I have seen the Aarti, so I am not asking her to start.
Don't be shy.
Okay, thank you, people. Thank you for giving me a beautiful smile. So let start the webinars with the first presentation. Let me start sharing my screen. So the first presentation is about the what are the requirement has changed from the previous reporting to the current reporting. Are you able to see my screen? See my slide? Okay. Good. So in this presentation, I will cover the all the requirement. What is the change from the let me go through and I will explain everything. So the transparency that you are all almost everyone is aware about that word. That this is a new word you are hearing from the around 2-3 years, mostly after the Paris Agreement. So let me tell something. So before the Paris Agreement, there is a Kyoto Protocol and the UNFCCC Convention that most of the developing and developed nation has signed. Under that system, there is a MRV system. So we are following everyone MRV, and under the MRV we submit the national communications and BUR. But after the Paris Agreement signed, the system has changed. The MRV is replaced by ETF. So ETF is the Enhanced Transparency Framework, which is specifically for the main target is to improve the transparency. So you are aware that the climate change is going on and it's increasing day by day. So the all the parties think during the Paris Agreement signing that there is a need of improvement of the transparency and the reporting in the terms of all the greenhouse gas emission, what are the policies and action government is taking, and what are the progress of this all policies. And so they have included the one part is the NDC. You are aware that and tracking of the NDC. So you have to track the all goals and the policies and actions of the government. So yes, so this is the advantage of the transparency to communicate the information relevant to the implementation, including emission and removal. So when you reporting all the numbers of the emissions and removals and all the policies, you are aware about your country's condition better, and you can also communicate or present better compared to the developing world or to the all support provider in the world, so they can understand this is the requirement of Nepal. We can see through this data, through this policy, and they can also provide support to you. So to provide accurate data, it is one of the parts. So it also build the trust and confidence among the parties that Nepal is doing this kind of activity, and they have extended their work to the now. Earlier they have reported 10 categories, but now they are reporting 20 categories. So this is the kind of improvement they have done. They are taking steps. Yes, so these are the transparency, and yeah, so this is the how ETF is progressing. Not exactly ETF, but how the transparency and the reporting system is going on. So from 1992, UNFCCC is there. They have to at that time decided to submit the adaptation and mitigation. Then 1997, second round of submission, and when at that time decided to submit national communication every 4 years. So this is the first kind of report that every country has to report, and also the developing and the developed. Then after in 2015, Paris Agreement has come, and we have decided to implement the ETF from the MRV. So after the Paris Agreement in the 2018, around in I think in the Katowice, yes, the Katowice COP24, that we have decided the guidelines to how we implement the ETF. So we have around 50 pages document where all the parties has agreed that this is the terms and condition for the guidelines for the each part of the section and the chapter of the BTR, national communication, everything. And now 2024, you are aware that we are submitting the first BTR, which will be replacing the BUR for developing country and biennial report BR for the developed countries. So if we see this part of this three major part after the Paris Agreement, this are Article 13 is the main article of the Paris Agreement. So if you want to see the transparency, anything related to transparency, you can refer to the Article 13 of the Paris Agreement. And there are 30 for the action, you can refer Article 30.7 and 8, for the support 9 and 10, and for the review and consideration 11 and 12. So in the 2018, which I told you that for during we have decided the MPG, the document called the decision 18 CMA1. So if you are attending something related to UNFCCC, you heard this one that we have quoted this decision 18 CMA1. So this document covered the all the modalities, procedure and guidelines that you have to follow to prepare during the BTR and the national communication. And recently in the COP26 in the Glasgow, we have also added some more information related to this chapter. Actually, this is the kind of chapter that you have to report in your national communication and BTR. And additionally, you have to also report the around 7 to 8 annexer with support to BTR. So this is also decided recently in the COP26. So yes, so this is I have already talked about that Article 13 and COP24 and COP26. So yeah, this is the CRT CTF. So this is the two new requirement for the developing country. Earlier, this is the like called CRF reporter. So developed countries are already doing this kind, filling this kind of table during national communications and BR. They also submit a national inventory report every year. So during reporting this, they submit this kind of tables around 50 to 56 silver around they submit this kind of table related to the greenhouse gas inventory. But after the Paris Agreement in the COP26, we have decided by the all the countries that now developing countries, only developed countries, both submit this kind of tables. So we have to submit the common reporting tables for the greenhouse gas inventory. So for greenhouse gas inventory, we have to submit 60 tables through a UNFCCC web platform. So I think Ministry of Environment will receive some kind of support from the UNFCCC Secretariat. So they will provide a web-based software. Through web-based software, what happens when you have to enter the all kind of activity data, emission factor, the final number of emission will calculate automatically, and there is a one table will generate at the end for the each category. Like for the electricity production under the energy, there is a one table will create. This table you can export through a system, and this table you can also report in your BTR and in national communication. So there is around 60 kind of table for the CRT. For the CTF, this is the new requirement. NDC tracking, we have to provide a 13 tables, 12 table plus one annexer. So now we have also report our all kind of policies, our projections. So there's a good thing that Nepal is already submitted projection in the third national communication. So this kind of exercise will continue in the BTR. You will submit a we will submit all the kind of policies that already implemented or you are planning to implement it in the future. And the CTF is also another kind of CTF is for the support. So you have to identify what are the kind of support you needed for the all area like greenhouse gas inventory, NDC, adaptation, mitigation, everything. And you can also express that this is the support needed and this is the kind of support we have already received maybe in the last 1 year, 2 year or 5 years. So you can express this. There are also 12 to 13 tables for the CTF also for the support needed and chapter. So these three are the cell requirement for the all countries. Of course, there is some flexibility we can use. So if you are not able to submit by the end of 2024, maybe as a least developed country, you can take one more year of flexibility that we will submit by the end of 2025. But either you are taking this flexibility or not, but we have to report this. This is the compulsory requirement for the all the countries. The only flexibility is that the kind of frequency to report either in 1 year or 2 year. So for the first BTR, the deadline is set by the 31st December, which I will cover in the next slides. So this is the requirement. You can see this is the existing under the existing MRU arrangement. We are preparing biennial update report and national communication. But from now enhanced transparency framework, we will replace the BUR by the BTR. So under these boxes are the chapters of this full report. So national communication it is the same. We are not changing anything, but the for the BTR you can see that under the BUR we are replacing producing around 3 major chapter and the all other chapter if you want to report. But for the BTR there are new area or new chapters that are already included, and the new thing, the yellow box flexibility and area of improvement you have to report. So I will cover in the next about what is the flexibility and how you can use, and if you are using, what you have to do in the your report. So yes, so this is the reporting. So there is a 3 cycle. Once you report, it will go through a technical expert review. So I think Nepal is not aware about this kind of condition because you have not submitting a BUR. So national communication as of now it's not going to under any kind of review. It is nobody will ask question about our national communication. So Nepal has already submitted 3 national communication, but we submit it will directly accepted by the UNFCCC. But what happened in the BTR, when you submit the BTR, it will go through technical expert review. So there is a kind of 10 people, 5 from developing, 5 from develop. They will review your content of the BTR. Not the all the content, but the greenhouse gas inventory, NDC tracking, the all cell requirement. They will analyze the content. They will ask question. You will respond back, and the around 5 to 6 months this process will go on. And after that, there is a FMCP. So it is replaced by ICA. Earlier there is a for if you submit the BUR, your BUR will go through ICA process, and after the so they will prepare one kind of report which we call technical analysis summary report. So this is a summary of the full BTR and full BUR. So they prepared this kind of report and it is published on the UNFCCC website. And the later when there is a next COP is coming, country is invited to submit, prepare the presentation and give in front of the all the developing and developed countries in the COP. So this is the 3 cycle process of not only so when you submit and prepare and submit the BTR, it will go through a review. After the review, when review is completed, you will go through a final review, final round of the presentation. So this is that. Yeah, this is the cell requirement you have to follow. So these 3 steps are compulsory for every country. So these are the timelines. So I have already told that 2020 and by the end of 2024, we have to submit the BTR. It is for the if you are preparing the BUR, 2024 is also the deadline. But if you are not BUR, then BTR is also the deadline of 2024. So for the national communication, you have to submit every 4 years, and for the BTR, you have to submit it every 2 years. So now, if you are submitting BTR in 2024, then the next second BTR will come in 2026. Okay, so this is the outline of the BTR. So if you're thinking about that, what is the content of the BTR that you have to prepare? So these are the chapters of the BTR. So you can see the first is the inventory report. So inventory report is the basically greenhouse gas inventory that you have to report everything about what are the categories, emissions and removal in the all categories. Second is about the NDC. Third is about the impact and adaptation. Fourth is about the FTC, finance, technological, and the transfer of capacity building. Now there is a 4th and 5th chapter. So fourth chapter is it is basically for the developed country, and 5th chapter is for developing. So we are reporting that this is the kind of support needed and what are the support we have received. So we report this chapter number 5. But developed country will provide that this is the kind of support we have provided to developing country. So this is the difference between develop and developing. And you are aware that this last 4th chapter it is about that if you are using this some kind of flexibility or you are improving your inventory, then you have to report this kind of information. So like if you are using flexibility, so you have to report that where you have used flexibility and why you are using flexibility, and when you are planning to remove the flexibility and come to mandatory report the all information. This part you have to cover in this chapter. And the improvement, you can mention that this is our future plan in the inventory and the NDC and the all other information. So today and also there are some annexer which I told you that you have to submit around 4 or 5 annexer with the BTR, like the CRTs and CTF of the NDCs and support needed chapter. So this is the outline. So we have already seen the BTR's content. So in the BTR, our focus is today is the national inventory report. So this is the separate chapter in the BTR, and this chapter is also separate guidelines how to prepare this national inventory report. And these are around 9-10 chapters that you have to include it. It's basically all the sectors of the greenhouse gas inventory that you have to include, and each sector and each section has a separate guideline also in the MPG. And this is the last part is the review part. So what is the green boxes is the national inventory and NDC. It will go through a review. This is the action chapter and this is the cell requirement. So the after you are submitting the BTR, it will go through a review process, and the review process, this final review report will be prepared by UNFCCC that according to your BTR, this is the review, and like have you done, what you have followed, what you have not followed, this all kind of information will be covered in the technical expert review report. Yes, so this is the table which I am talking about, this CRTs and CTF. So this table, so there are around 59 tables that we have to report for the greenhouse gas inventory table. So this table, you can see that the main table is for the energy and around 11 background tables related to all data of activity data, emission factors, all kind of uncertainty, key category that you are using for energy, reference and sectoral approach. All this information will come in the background table. So you can see that these are the all 5 key area of the greenhouse gas inventory, and this is the summary report, three summary tables, 5 tables for the cross cutting, like key category, recalculation, completeness, and the 6 trend table about the all the gases, where we have to report like from 2010 to 2010. This is the trend of the greenhouse gas emission in the Nepal. And the last table is about the flexibility, where you have taken flexibility, you have to mention for the each category. So as I told you, for the CRT, CTF, and CTF. So these 3 are the mandatory requirements: CRT for the greenhouse gas inventory, CTF for NDC, and CTF for support needed and received. These are reported as an annexer to the BTR. So if you are reading the modalities, procedure, and guideline document of the COP24 Katowice, so this is there are under actually 200 paragraphs. So every kind of set of paragraphs for each section. So for the, like you can see here, for the in para number 1 to 6, you can find the all instruction related to the introduction, what you have to include and what you cannot include in the introduction chapter. Like for para 17 to 58, there are all the requirement specifically for national greenhouse inventory, which kind of category you have to include, what is the GWP value you have to use, what is the time series that you have to start, what is the recalculation procedure, uncertainty, and everything that you are covered in. So if you read the paragraph from 17 to 58, you cover the all information related to national greenhouse gas inventory. That this is the instruction that you have to follow during preparation of the BTR. So I will request that at least the MPG you have to read this all the para. If you are following NDC tracking, then you can all of course follow this only 59 to 79 paras. This is just for your information. Yeah, so flexibility. This is the new requirement. So as of now, there is a note. This kind of process is available under the previous national communication BUR, but from the BTR it will available. So what you can do when, like for the least developed countries, there are some kind of flexibility that are available. So if you are not able to submit the BTR by the end of 2024, then you can take a flexibility for 1 year that you will submit the BTR in the 2025 because of the capacity building and the need requirement. So when you use the flexibility, you have to also mention that why you are using flexibility. So like you can mention that there is a requirement, we are not able to collect the all information, there is a data gap, there is a challenge in the preparing the greenhouse gas inventory, so it will take time. So you can mention this reason. Also this reason you have to also include that when you are planning to improvement. So like as of now you are taking a 3 years to submit the BTR, then you have to inform them by what time you will submit the BTR by every 2 years. So maybe you can mention that there is an improvement plan already going on. So maybe it will take 4 years or 5 years. And from the 2030 onwards, we will submit the BTR every 2 years. So it's, of course, there is a flexibility we can use for the each section, each category, but we have to also provide justification for the each every time where we use the flexibility. And there is a new notation key FX. So we in the reporting table of CRT and CTF, we use the NA not applicable, not ENE not estimated, or IE included elsewhere. Similarly, we can now use the FX. So if you are using flexibility, you just have to mention FX in the CRTs and CTF. So in the next slide, I am just covering the three basic for the key category. What is the changing? So in the previously, we are reporting the key category for the 95%, but now it is changed. Now we can use, of course, it is continuing up to 95%, but we can take a flexibility to report until 85%. I will cover it in detail. What is the key category? So similarly for the uncertainty analysis, you have to report the uncertainty numbers for the what is the uncertainty for each category activity data and emission factor in the greenhouse gas inventory. But if you are not able, then you can take a flexibility that maybe a key category you can report, but the or not all the categories. So QAQC is also the important part. You have to report now what are the how you implement the QAQC in your country. What is your plan and how you process, follow the quality analysis and quality control process of your greenhouse gas inventory and the BTR. And the key points from the presentation is like you have to read this two document 18 CMA1, which is the MPG, and 5 CMA3. It is from the COP26. These two documents cover the all basic instruction for the reporting or preparing the BTR and the national communication. And the CRT and CTF table is a new thing that you can find in the 18 CMA1. Flexibility is a new thing which are not available earlier, but now it is available. You can find anything about in the MPG and the, of course, the main important point is the continuous improvement. You can also mention a separate section in the BTR that this is a kind of improvement and we will do in the future reporting cycles of the BTRs and NCs. Yeah, so this is the end of the first presentation. So I am expecting more questions and answers or maybe a suggestions, comment, anything. If you want, I am happy to answer. Let me stop sharing. I can understand this is a kind of lots of information that I have provided to you. But similarly, when you read this, you can understand, yeah, this is the process that you have to follow. And yeah, this is because not every person are involved in the full cycle of, I think under Ministry of Environment is a nodal agency, but there are different institute like CBIT, CBIT is another, there are also the university has joined here. So if you are taking the one section of the full reporting like greenhouse gas inventory, in the greenhouse gas inventory, you are handling the energy section, then you have to follow the all the guidelines that are related to the energy sector. And when you are starting this preparing the report, you can take carefully understand that this is the that we have to follow when preparing the BTR.
Jaipal, I'll just start just to begin some communication. I'll start. I was wondering, there are other countries who are also in a way not yet there. They haven't even submitted like the initial BUR. So if there are any countries of such condition in your contact, how they are planning, because in case of Nepal, it has been really difficult, like given the timeline and the modality of funding that we have. It's really difficult to attend or complete the project within this, like let's say December of 2024. So how other countries are planning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, so it is not for the Nepal. Actually, around only 7 or 8 countries have submitted the BURs in the Asia region. So I'm handling the Asia, so I am aware about that. So there are around 10 to 12 countries which have not submitted even a single BUR. So of course it is difficult for the countries who have not any submitted BUR because you are not aware about the review process actually. You are aware about that national communication you prepare and submit it to the UNFCCC and the chapter ends there. But for the BUR, what happened? It is go through a ICA cycle. Currently, it is called International Consultation Analysis. So what happened in the ICA process will actually help the countries to find out the gaps where what are the information that you have missed, the mandatory information you have not reported. It will cover in the this review cycle. So you are not aware about this, so I can understand it will take time for the BTR because uh, actually there is a one good thing that CBIT GSP we have started a review process of the BTR. Now we are already reviewing the BUR. So what we do, uh, before country submitting to the UNFCCC, we review their BTR. So it is only confidential between the country and us. So we review their BTR and we will find the gap that this is the section that you have missed in the reporting. This is the mandatory requirement and you have to report. So if you have not report, then the question will come back from the UNFCCC. So before submitting to the UNFCCC, we will review the BTR of the country and we will listed out this is the kind of gap for the each chapter, and after that you can improve the all the gaps that we have mentioned and then you can submit to the UNFCCC. So after understanding this kind of the problem we have started this kind of initiative, but it will of course take time because there is a we understand there is a very less time remaining, and when we submit the we are following the deadline. If we are completed the BTR in November, then we also have to do a review in quickly around 10 days, and then I will send it back to you. So of course it will take time, but there is a requirement and this is the option that we can check. Also, you can what you can do, you can set up your QA/QC team in your country. So what happened when this is the kind of BTR for like each one chapter is ready, like greenhouse gas inventory, then you can send this chapter to your internal QA/QC or external QA/QC team. They will check the all mandatory requirement as per the MPGs and the COP26 guideline that yes, Nepal has completed all that and you can go ahead for the submission to the UNFCCC. Maybe at this step you can take for the preparation of the BTR. Thank you, Shiva, for initiating the question and answer. So I am expecting more question answer. This is a free answer.
Yeah,
You can ask anything. Yeah, hi Kedar.
so yeah, I'm Kedar, actually working in university and since long time involving in this NDC, MBR, and ETF with ministry somehow.
Yeah.
So we know that ministry has a pressure on this war, but we haven't started yet. Anyway, uh,
Okay.
good listen to from you, and everything is recorded. Then we can consult if the time permit, if opportunity will be given to us. We'll
Yeah.
ready to contribute to the ministry because it's our part of the, as a academician. Uh, I would like to say, and that's why we have three people: Dr. Narayan, Dr. Bogati. We have invited because we are past somehow we involved in this thing. That's
Okay.
why I really thank you. But it's very
Yeah.
nice points, nicely articulated. So everything is very informed to us. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Kedar. And the all the participant, I will provide these presentations and the recording to you. So you can also circulate to your colleagues for so they
That will
are
be great.
also get to aware. Yeah.
That will be great. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, I think there are no more questions. There is also discussion session in between, so maybe we can take question. Also, I am also not an English speaker, so do not mind the language. I am basically from the India, so I actually speak the Hindi. So if you are understand the Hindi, you can ask the question. There is no issue of the language. So let me start the second session. It is about the importance of the national inventory management system. So the second presentation. Okay. Okay, here it is. So we are aware that this is the kind of process for the BTR and the national communication. So one of the important part is the national inventory management system. It is a kind of institutional arrangement that we are setting in the country for the all kind of future reporting. So you understand that greenhouse gas inventory is one of the part that is necessary mandatory requirement for all countries. So if we set up a kind of a system in the Nepal, so it is not like there is a no system, there is already a system. But what we are doing, we are trying to improve the system according to the new requirement. So what we do a kind of a assigned set up a one kind of institution arrangement with including all the stakeholder, including universities, agencies, organization, the international organization like CBIT, WWPUS is also there. So all kind of institution you can involve, and with assigning the particular role and responsibility to each institution, you can set up this. And there is a particular cycles, each step that you have to follow to successful inventory management system. So let's go through this presentation. So this is a very short presentation, but I will try to explain you in a brief. There is what is the importance and how we can set up this kind of national inventory management system. So what are the importance and benefits? So if you set up the first important, I want to tell you that if you set up a proper system for the national inventory management system, which will continue to run by years and years, because if you can see like 1995 when convention is arriving, each country has signed the UNFCCC convention. At that time, requirement is different. Now in the 2015, during Paris Agreement, all countries come together and sign the different agreement. So the requirement has changed. And now we are reporting BTRs and following the Paris Agreement. Maybe in after 5, 10, 15 years, another time requirement will change because climate change is increasing. So you can expect that there is a new more requirement will come. So if you have any system proper, so this system will adapt the all the changing requirement. So if you have not system, the people will not continue to work. So people will change. Then again, new people will come. You have to train them again from the starting that why we are reporting the NC and BUR now, how BUR will replace by BTR. So this process will help to continue to process, continue to follow throughout the years. And also this will transfer if like me, I consider like I am working in the Ministry of Nepal, and from the last 10 years, I am reporting the BURs and national communication. Now I am leaving for another organization, or maybe I can transfer by the government. Then before leaving to the new government, new agency, I will transfer my all knowledge, all capacity building to the new people who are coming through in place of me. So there are a system where all kind of documents, the previous kind of all the Excel sheet, all the data provided by the statistic department are available at one place. So what that all data can be available to the new person who come, and there is a kind of a procedures and follows that this person, new person has to read and they can understand. It's a kind of a self-explanatory exercise. So this is the most important benefits of the setting the national inventory management system or kind of a institutional arrangement for the Nepal. So yes, so you can by following this you can increase your increase your support. You can also get support from the all developing countries because they are you are gaining their trust, so they can understand, yeah, Nepal has this kind of system, and this is the person, this agency, this department are affiliated to this kind of reporting like adaptation mitigation or water or climate or energy, anything. You can also follow the UNFCCC obligation through this system. All the kind of requirement, all kind of requirement and all the future agreement that are coming in the future COPs. Also the environment assessment, impact assessment, and the economic and development planning can also improve by setting this national inventory management system. So if you are involved in the inventory preparation, you are aware about this 5 principle. So it is not prepared by us, but it is prepared by the UNFCCC and the IPCC. So if you are preparing a national greenhouse gas inventory, there are 5 principles that you have to follow. It is called a TACC, TACCC, transparency, accuracy, completeness, comparability, and consistency. This is for only to uh, these 5 principles have to follow by each developing country, developed country. to improve their reporting and improve their transparency in the all kind of reporting. So when you set up this kind of national inventory management system, this all 5 principles are automatically follow. So if you are not if you don't have any proper inventory management system, then you have to take care of this all 5 principle by one. Like transparency, you will follow that. Yeah, we have followed transparency or not. We have reported this mandatory information or not. But if there is a kind of system, there is a particular organization who is doing a QA/QC, like all the universities and agencies and department are doing a preparation of greenhouse gas inventory. Then Ministry of Environment, what can do? They can do a quality check of the all the information from the data collection to data process, analyze, and the storage. The all cycle they can follow, and they can overview that, yeah, or everything is going right, and this process is going right. So we will prepare and finally submit the BTR to the UNFCCC. So this is the kind of advantage of the National Inventory Management System or kind of institution arrangement. So yes, so these are the challenge for the not for the Nepal, but for the all developing countries. We have a small teams and the limited resources. We can understand. We have not collecting the data. Maybe we have some kind of data related to the from 2000 onwards or 2005, but we are not collecting this data. So this is a kind of challenge we have to now, because from the BTR we have to report from 1990 onwards the full time series data. Of course, we can take a flexibility, but this is the requirement. So I can understand for the developing country, now we are reporting like 2000, 2005, 2010, and now suddenly 2017. Whenever we submit the report, we take this inventory data. But now we have to report from the full time series data. So this is a challenge for them, because maybe some old data are not available, maybe due to government, and either we have not collected, or either we have, if we have a data but we have not stored somewhere, so data may be misplaced or missed somewhere. Also the lack of country specific emission factor. So and country specific emission factor is a kind of thing that we have developed for our own country condition. Like if you take like a transport sector, then there is a one fuel, petrol or diesel, but there is a different kind of vehicles that are running on the Nepal. And there is also the kind of infrastructure, road infrastructure are different compared to the world. So the kind of we can say that the 1 liter of the fuel consumed by traveling 1 kilometer or 100 meter, it is different compared to the all over the world condition. Like in India, let me consider one example of the one scooter or maybe a one car, which will giving a mileage of 10 kilometer per liter in India, but then it is not same for the Nepal. Maybe it is giving a 15 kilometer in the India for the Nepal. So this is called a country specific emission factor. You have to develop this country specific emission factor, so you can accurately estimate the emission factor for each category. So this is of course required developing a lab test and doing all kind of experiments so you can estimate. So this is the kind of challenge, and the insufficient. Of course, I have mentioned that documentation like TN three national communication are already submitted by Nepal, but if you have not access to the all three previous communication data, then it will be a challenge for to submit during a BTR. And the expertise, yes, this is the most important challenge for the all developing country. When the person will be trained or somewhere expert, there is a possibility they might be leave the organization or join somewhere else. So it will be difficult for the small developing country to train the another people, because we have limited funds and everything. So these are the kind of the institute or organization, department, all kind of they can join inventory agency. So they, you can also hire the of course consultant from the those who are working in the Nepal, which can support the Ministry of Environment to prepare. And so you can involve this kind of all the stakeholders to prepare this national inventory agency, and you can assign everyone that this is the like energy sector, electricity is the electricity category, it will be assigned to the central electricity or energy and transport ministry, that you have to prepare this kind of data, and you have to submit every 6 months or every 1 year to the ministry, so they can process and prepare and estimate the analysis, estimate the emission for that category. So this is the one part, first part of the national inventory management system, that you have to identify the roles and responsibility for each stakeholder that may be a possible role in the preparation of the BTR. Yeah, so this is a kind of a QA/QC. So maybe we can do this kind of better quality data. We can do a like for energy sector, if you are starting with the doing a full inventory management system, then first is the data collection. So you can expect allow allocated a one role to the one agency that you have to collect the data, you have to analyze, and you have to give us the final data to the another agency. The agency now another agency will do a kind of analysis of that data. This is the data is correct. There is a no data gap, so they can process and analyze and estimate the emission from that data. And now emission will be given to the ministry. That ministry, this is the emission number which will comes from this full cycle, and this number is correct. You can report it to the UNFCCC. Yeah, so this is the kind of improvement we can show that we can continue to follow throughout the national inventory management system setup during the setup. So yeah, this is the main slide of the whole presentation. So what is this cycle or steps that you have to follow to preparing the or any kind of national inventory management, or maybe a one full BTR or one national communication? So this is particularly with focus on the national inventory. So when you preparing a national greenhouse gas inventory, the first step is to plan, start the kickoff meeting, involve all the stakeholder, those who are involved in the collecting the data, or they have some experience or related to greenhouse gas emission estimate or anything. Involve all the stakeholder. You can plan. This cycle maybe take 1 or 2 months that you inform all the stakeholder that this is you are identified, this is your role, this is your responsibility, and this is our requirement. Like our country Nepal has to submit this BTR. So your role is this, and you have to submit this. For this, you can also sign an MOU. So they can also feel take some responsibility that yeah, so our responsibility is this, and we have to submit this data to the this government, so they can submit the report to the BTR. So maybe there is a proper setup. Legal arrangement could be done with the all stakeholders, so they can feel some there is some responsibility, and this cycle will continue through years. Even the person has changed, the cycle will not stop. So if there is some MOU, it will help to the all stakeholder and also the government to continue the cycle and continue to reporting the BTRs or every 2 years. The second step is collect. So after the identify the stakeholder, you have to collect all the information from the everywhere, whatever is available. Like from the statistical agencies, is there all organization, university, all international database, we have to collect the data. After collecting the data, you have to also perform the quality check. Yeah, so this or the all data are available from 1990 onwards for all the years. This is the time series data available from all years. So you can also conduct the QA/QC. After that, you find that yes, data is correct, then the next step will be estimate. So in the estimate step, you will estimate that this data is available activity data. You can find the emission factor for each category. So when you estimate, you can find that if there is a country specific emission factor is not available, then you can take IPCC default emission factor and then you estimate the emission for each category. You can also conduct the QQC at this step also, when you can check the emission levels of the each category. Like the electricity production is from 1990 to 2020 is going on like increasing. So it's of course it's a good thing. But if it is like increasing, decreasing, increasing, decreasing, so you can find that there is maybe a problem in the data. So that's why the emission number is fluctuating throughout the years. So you can again go back to the collect stage and you can find the problem and come back again to the estimate. After finalizing the emission, you can go to the right section. Maybe this part will be handled over by the ministry. So ministry will take the hire some consultant, and after analyzing the data provided by the agency, they can write this section. After completing the chapter, each section they can review again the final, that this is the from the from the data collection from the estimate to write, this is the final number that we are reporting to the UNFCCC. And then after you can take final approval, whatever is the process available in the Nepal, government approval or cabinet process. When after applying, it will submit to the UNFCCC. After that, it is not completely end. The final step is the archiving. So like if you have submitted the BTR and all the data and all you have collected, you have to completely store this data in a proper system, like in an IT system or proper platform particularly developed for the all stakeholder, where if anyone has to access the previous data of the BTR, they can directly access and they can see that this is the information we have reported in the last BTR. So when we preparing the second BTR, you can understand, yeah, so we have to take like this is the time series we have reported. Now there is a new emission factor has found. So we have to recalculate the all the time series. But if you don't have any time series data previous which are submitted in the last BTR, then it is create a problem for you. So if there is a data available, you can take it back, recalculate the full time series, then again submit in the BTR. So this is the most important slide and most important slide of the today's webinar, that these are the steps that you can follow and you can create a proper national institute arrangement system, sustainable system that will run years and years throughout the Nepal government. Either government will change, either agency will change, anything will change, whoever will come, they will understand, yeah, we have to follow this system. Earlier person has already done this and they have stored this data. We can take this data and we can continue this cycle and continue to submit the whatever is the requirement. Maybe in the future, after 10-15 years, maybe we have to submit a national inventory for every 1 year, not instead of 2 years. So at that time, only this test, if we have set up this system, it will help us to submit even in a 1 year. Because as of now, the what are the developed countries are doing, it's because of this system. They continuously every year they have submit the national inventory management to the UNFCCC because it's a continuous cycle. Whoever is collecting data, they they send it to the again another person for processing. Another person or agency or organization will analyze and send it to the another person. So this is a kind of a regular job they are doing, and it will be continue to going whenever till the data is coming to the system. It will going to the processes and then submitting. Okay, so this is the, I want to tell you that this is the main part of the inventory management system. And yeah, this is the kind of a some, if we set up the sustainable institutional arrangement, this is the step: planning, preparation, reporting, documenting and archiving, evaluation, national consultation process, and then final the approval and submission. Okay, so yeah, this is the chart from the UNFCCC. So they have also suggested that you can follow the organization mandate, identify the stakeholder, then identify expertise, check the data flows, where is the data gap. Then maybe you can set up a system and tools in the particularly for the Nepal. So each one of you can use that tools, maybe a kind of a web platform or something like software. And then and the last is the stakeholder engagement. So the main important advantage of this is the stakeholder engagement. So if you have this kind of data from 1990 or all full time series data, you can, whenever you are taking a decision, policy decision by the government, or maybe you can changing some policy, this data will help you to say that, yeah, you can change this policy. Like if you have a data of solar policy from 2005 onwards, so you can check the last 15 years, the solar policy is moving towards. And when our installation is moving for the solar, our emission is reducing. So you can say that, yeah, this policy is good. We can continue this policy. We can fund this policy. So this policy will continue. But if there is a problem like solar rooftop you have conducted, but solar, the installation number is not going forward and we are not able to achieving the target. So you can change, maybe you can do some flexible mandate, or you can do some amendment in the policy to provide an incentive or encourage people to install the rooftop solar. So if you want to take this decision, it will be only possible. It will be only possible when you have some data. If you don't have any data, you can't. You have to take a randomly decision that, yeah, maybe we can start a wind power. Solar is not working. Maybe we can move towards the electric vehicle. So this is the kind of it is create uncertainty, not the accuracy. So Yeah, so this is the system, and yeah, so this is the end of the presentation. Actually, this is the team of my team. So if there is any question or anything, you can contact us. Of course, you can also contact Siva. So Siva is already contact with the CBIT GSP. So let me stop sharing this presentation. I think, yeah. So I think we are providing too much information to all of you, but this is a necessary information that you need to understand, and you understand that this reporting requirements is continuously changing. So you have to adapt to it, and you have to flexible it, and you have to explore the all parts of this information. So question and answer session is open. If nobody asks, then maybe this time, maybe I can start with Rajan. Rajan, you must have some question and answer, or maybe a suggestion, comment.
Yeah, like actually, I don't have any question, but looking to your last slide, like actually, it has also provided some kind of basis to start of CVIT project in Nepal, because looking to the CVIT project, like it has also aimed to like facilitate the collection of or the inventory of greenhouse gas emission. So the slide that you have presented just before, it's somehow linked to the CBIT, and we are aiming that like by the end of this project we will develop some kind of web portal, like
Yeah.
where we could entry all those required data and information, and so that like we could also ensure some kind of institutional memory, and we
Yes.
can like transform those informations to the new commerce in the days to come. So I think
Yeah.
it is very comprehensive, and it has provided some sorts of information and some clarity in terms of the methodology and in terms of the institutional arrangement that we are looking forward. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And this there is a good thing that CBIT project has started in Nepal, and you can take as much advantage of this CBIT project because there is some fund available, there is some expertise available. You can take as much advantage, and I think Rajan will be set up the system in the Nepal, so it will you can take. Of course, there is also some uh, support available from the developed country. So maybe WWFs can explore that opportunity. Maybe some Australia, or I think I am aware about the US EPA and the Australia are also supporting developing countries. Yeah, Kedar, I think you want to speak something.
The ministry has started this coordination and getting the data flow. We prepare the MRB framework also for them, but it's the hard is that how to strengthen the system is lacking. The institution memory is
Yeah.
very lacking. I would like to say not very much we achieve. So in the days to come, when we want to report annually, and by that time, our capacity, our means the capacity ministry will be really strengthened, and they are the focal agency, and they
Yeah.
can do it. We are ready to support to them, but still the dilemma is that the
Yes.
coordination and the data gap is there. So category of the emission factor of every country is very difficult here. The research is very in the list. So how to generate the data in that level is our
Yeah.
challenge. But ministry is always looking forward, and they are supporting. Let's say we can work together and we can achieve the things in the days come. Thank you.
Thank you, Kedar. Yeah, it's the problem for the data gap is the main problem for the all institute, because even if we try to conduct the full system, there is a data which are not ever collected in the country. So what we can do? So of course there is a need of the data processing, that we have to fill this gap of the years in between for the any category or any years. So I can understand this is a big requirement, and once there is a one system set up, then you can at least take some decision that yeah, maybe this institute can provide some estimate of this data, maybe some based expert judgment like this.
Yeah, what you have proposed, I mean, you are trying to do how we can, with the sustainable way, collecting the data and reporting system, which looks
Yeah.
good. But
Yeah.
now how we can practice in our context, and it will be depends upon and how we can code in our local level. I mean, local in the country level, that
Yeah.
really matters in days to come. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Kedar. So yeah, also for like because the CBIT project is now just started. So when this project will continue to move 1 or 2 years, it will progressing. Then you will get to benefit about this project, help you to set up this all kind of MRV system or kind of institutional arrangement. Because before starting, you will not understand what is the advantage of CBIT project and how it will help us. But if I say the experience of like Bangladesh has started the CBIT project in 2019. So during this last 4 years, they don't have any kind of system even to prepare the national inventory management system. But after setting this, starting the CBIT project, now they have a currently a in-country developed system where there is a one platform they have developed, web-based platform developed by the Environment Ministry, where all the stakeholders are given access to a particular role. Like for the energy, there is a Ministry of Energy and the Ministry of Transport. There another under the Ministry of Energy, there are all 10 or 15 institutions which are also given access. So all they are involved through one link through a one platform. So they have developed the MRV platform, and now even in a 1 year they prepared their BUR. So this CB project will I am planning the what I am trying to planning that CB project will help you in a too much way that you are not even estimate that how they can help you, because there is a fund available, there is a support available from the developed country also. So when you explore this all kind of tools and the support and you gather this all thing everything at one place, and at least one start that it is started from the initial stage, it will give you some importance after maybe 1 or 2 years. You will be in a good stage to submit any kind of report, or even if government asks any kind of information from you, you can immediately inform that yeah, this is the kind of data from the last 10 years or 15 years, and anyone can access, anyone can take out the data and submit it to the higher authority in the government. So once the system is set up, it will of course help you in so many ways. So people is not asking, then maybe it's let me stop sharing and move towards the next presentation. So Shiva, I think Santa is making presentation from the Ministry of Environment.
Yes, yes, I am
Yeah.
making a brief
Yeah, Santa.
presentation in the
Please.
existing scenario.
Yeah, please. So there is some presentation from the Ministry of Environment regarding what are they are doing and what. Let me Santa tells everything about Ministry of Environment's plan.
I think I don't have access to share my presentation.
Let me just give me a minute. Yeah, now you can do it.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, it's taking a time.
No issue, no issue.
Why I'm not having issues? Are you seeing my screen?
No, not yet. Maybe you can send the presentation to Shiva or me. Maybe I will share and you can speak.
Yes, it will be better. Okay, I.
Till the presentation starting, I also request the all participant that please feel free to speak or tell anything about anything in your mind. So it's not like you cannot ask this kind of question. Maybe this is not related to the inventory or anything. You can ask us anything. Don't feel hesitate. And don't shy about the language also. It's not like maybe if you are not good in English, we are not also in good in English because English is not language of the our Asia region. So don't feel shy. And if you are not speaking, then you can also send it in the chat box.
Excuse excuse me, Siva. I
Yeah.
think you have a presentation also. I think it will be better if you share that screen.
But haven't you revised the one that you have sent after you send me?
Yes, I have the revised one. Okay, I will send you that revised one. Okay.
Otherwise, if for the sake of time, I can just project the one that I have. If that is the same.
So if there is any problem, then I think I should go with my presentation and then later on Santa can present on
Yeah.
their presentation if that
Yes,
works.
yes,
Yeah,
that will work. Yeah, maybe Santa, you can send your presentation to me or Shiva. And now we will take the presentation of Rajan, and then later on we will take your presentation.
Yes, okay, that will be
Okay,
better.
so now we are moving towards the Rajan. You are maybe aware of him. He's the national project manager of the CBIT project, and the WWBUS is the implementing agency in the Nepal. And let's see what Rajan want to tell us about the transparency and everything. So yes, Rajan, floor is yours. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, thank you, Jaipal, and thank you everyone for joining this webinar. So I hope my slide is visible to everyone.
Yeah.
So basically in Nepal, like we are implementing this building national capacity of Nepal to meet requirements of the enhanced transparency framework of the Paris Agreement. So basically it is the CBIT project, but the title is a little bit different. And the project has not been started, but we are hoping that from the next month it will be started on a full phase.
Rajan, it actually fluctuating or blinking something. It's coming and going, coming and going. Maybe
It's okay now, or
no, maybe you can stop sharing and start it again.
okay, okay. Let me do it again.
I
So is
think
it
it is
visible
still
now?
CY, it is at your end also. It is blinking.
No, it's not
Uh,
blinking.
No, it's not blinking. It's okay in my screen. Very clear.
Okay. Okay, then go ahead. Rajan, go ahead, please.
Okay, so basically the CBIT, as mentioned by Zaipal, so the CBIT is also was agreed in UNFCCC to facilitate the transparency work for both pre and post 2020. And these initiatives intended to support developing country upon a request from the parties, and especially to meet the requirements under the Article 13 of the Paris Agreement. And lastly, like a transparency, a precondition to raising climate ambition, because in through CBIT, this project also facilitate government and other civil society organization or other larger stakeholder to track the progress made in implementation of NDC. But in a broader sense, the CBIT, it includes four different factors. One is action and support, second one is enhanced ambition, and third one is trust and accountability, and the last one is technical and institutional capacity. So in Nepal, our more focus is on institutional support, accountability, and enhance the ambition. So basically, in COP21, parties decided the aim of CBIT is to strengthen the national institution for transparency-related activities in line with the national priorities, and similarly, it is also expected to provide relevant tools, training, and assistance for meeting the provisions stipulated in Article 13 of the agreement. And it also aimed to assist improvement of transparency over the time. And during the conference, it was also requested to ZEF that it will support to establish or operation of CBIT. But having said that, there are some key consideration. One is alignment with the Article 13 and COP outcome. Similarly, it is also aligned with the NDC, nationally determined contribution, and it also addresses the identified capacity needs, because while submitting the product, that project document to the ZEP, like the government of Nepal, they have identified some key areas where we required support, like a technical or financial support from the ZEF, and that has been designated through CBIT project. And similarly, it is also align and coordinate with the other supporting agencies, like ZEF is there. Similarly, the ICAT is also there. Similarly, the interministerial coordinations, feedback of data and informations, and it is also linking with the global platform, since CBIT GSP is there. But at the meantime, it has also provided some kind of opportunities to interact with other countries who are currently implementing or have already implemented CBIT project in their nations. So looking to Nepal, like a CBIT project, like building national capacity of Nepal to meet requirement of the enhanced transparency framework. So it's the title, and the implementing agency, for the ZEF, like WWF US is a ZEF agency, and executing partner is Ministry of Forest and Environment, and this project was approved in June 13, 2022. So it's been already a year that the project has approved, and we are still looking for its effective implementation. And the implementing partner, so WWF is there, but at the meantime, other sectoral ministries, line agencies, private sectors, and CSOs will be the key implementing partner. The project period is 3 years, and the project funding size is 1.65 million USD. And the financing type is technical assistance. So in this project, we have envisioned that whatever the activity has planned to assist or to ensure the enhanced transparency framework in Nepal, all those support will be provided through technical assistance to the Ministry of Forest and Environment or to the government of Nepal. Aim of the project in Nepal. So basically, it aimed to strengthen institutions and capacities to meet ETF, and at the meantime, it will also track the national progress against priority action identified in Nepal's NDC. So fortunately now we have NDC implementation plan in place. So it will be very much easy for us in coming days that we will track the progress of NDC on the basis of that implementation plan that has been recently endorsed by government of Nepal. So in project, we have four different component. One is particularly focusing on strengthening the national institutions. Second one is more focused on enhancing the capacities to access, monitor, and report the emission and removal of GHG. And the third component is more focusing on NDC, it's a tracking of its progress and implementation. And the fourth one is knowledge management and monitoring. So in component 4, we are focusing to share the whatever the progress that we have made and the learnings from other CBIT implementing countries. So in a component 1, like there is one outcome and one output. So basically, as I mentioned, like we have envisioned that the coordination body for MRV in keeping with ETF requirement are established. So by implementing the activities planned under component 1 will support to formulate a kind of coordinating body for MRV. So these are the activities that are planned in component 1. So basically, it starts from analysis of the current policies, frameworks, like including the all planned policies, documents, or legal provisions which are more focused on MRB or climate change related activities, especially the GHG emission adaptation, mitigation, and finance. And similarly, the second activity will be more focusing on identification of the roles and responsibilities of MRB program staff. And third one, we will also prepare some kind of coordination strategy of the focal point identified through like stakeholder consultations. Actually, this focal point will serve as a key person, who will be responsible to track the what kind of the data or the information that we have received and whether that kind of information and data has been communicated through the web portal that is planned to establish by this CBIT project. Similarly, the elaborated duties that of single national entities is also under the plan, and identification of the duties of the entities leading on transparency activities for climate adaptation and support. And last activities for this component 1 is the signing of agreement, especially the MOU with the key data suppliers. So in the beginning, Jaipal has mentioned about the agencies the providing the access to them to enter the data and the information, whatever they have. So in the case of Nepal, we are now envisioning that they have the information, and if we could do some kind of agreement between the government and those agencies, then it will be legally binding, and they will continuously provide the data and the information to us on a regular basis. So that is a kind of intention to have this kind of activity on plan. In component 2, it is basically focusing on strengthen process of MRV and also the tools of key emission sectors, AFOLU, energy, IPPU, and waste. So in the case of agriculture, forest, and other land use, in Nepal, for agriculture and forest, there are some agencies like who could providing us the information or the data. But in the case of land use, in the case of energy, IPPU and waste, there are still challenges. So this activity is designed to provide some kind of methodologies and tools to mainstreaming the MRV mechanism to invent or to have a kind of inventory of the emission. Similarly, the output two is more focused on develop and rollout of long-term capacity building strategy. But this capacity building strategy is again focusing on GHG emission data collection, analysis, monitoring, and reporting in line with the ETF enhanced transparency framework. So having said that, like since Nepal is already started the process for ETF or BTR and BUR, but the CBIT has aimed to support these initiatives from the beginning, like especially providing some kind of platform or like identifying the key stakeholder who could provide information data to draft or to make a inventory report to government, especially the Ministry of Forest and Environment. The outcome activity, like especially in first outcome under component 2, like there are 4 activity. One is like a create and maintain a formally recognized national GHG inventory management system plan, including the quality assurance and all those the governing system are there. Similarly, identification or the selection of MRV methodologies, like that also includes some guideline or the methodologies prescribed by IPCC. And we have also planned to develop institutionalized data collection templates. So there are some other templates that has been prescribed by UNFCCC, and some other country use the different sorts of the data template. But in Nepal, like since like we do not have a such kind of template in practice so far, but for generating this BTR, we will also trying to develop some kind of national data management system tools. At the meantime, we will also we will also aiming to get some kind of support from other countries like who have already used those kind of templates or the tools for the collection or to make a greenhouse gas inventory report. The last activity is develop and institutionalize higher tier method, like since there are like a tier 2 and tier 3 which are already in practice, and Nepal is in tier 1. So we are trying to focus to have like a higher tier, especially in some categories like a cement, brick, road transport, and other key areas for this GHG emission sector. Under the outcome 2.2 of component 2, like there are like around 8 activities. Like one is about the data management, second one is about the training, like especially like this activity is trying to make the export, like especially the MRV roster, and to prepare the roster or to make an export in terms of GHG inventory, or to drafting this BTR report and other sectoral report. Like we will organize a series of trainings, online, virtual, or in physical, nationally and internationally, with the aiming that like those trained manpower will support government of Nepal in coming days to fulfill all those legally binding things under the UNFCCC. The component 3, it's more focusing on NDC, as I already mentioned. One is centralized climate action information management system will be established and functional, and second one is tracking mechanism established for this climate finance. So in terms of climate finance, like there are some kind of report is available, but formally, like besides our long-term climate finance strategy or the climate finance strategy that is mentioned under our national adaptation plan or under the climate change policy, we do not have such kind of tracking mechanism for climate finance. So through CBIT project, we have a kind of target that we will establish a kind of mechanism which will not just monitor the whatever the amount or whatever the fund that government has received, but at the meantime, this activity will also focus how much fund has utilized so far and whether that is used under the climate change adaptation or for mitigation activity. So the activity, one is develop of MRB IT system, as Bangladesh recently launched their web portal, Nepal has also similar aim to have a similar kind of web system where we could report all the necessary information, the emission of all those four area. Similarly, the information about climate
नमस्ते सङ्गत सर
adaptation.
अस्ति म हिँडेँ के अरे मैले केही गर्नुपर्ने छ भन्नु त
त्यहाँ कसैको म्युट गरिदिनु पर्छ कि है
Hello.
at the meantime, it will also focusing on tracking NDC, and similarly the establishment of National Information and Data Management System. So it will be under the Ministry of Forests and Environment. So the product in the project document, it is mentioned that a whole the governing body will be the Ministry of Forest and Environment, but in later stage, we need to identify who will be actually take care of this kind of system for the long term, whether that will be the university, the Department of Environment, or who could manage it for the long term, because data, it has to entry in on a regular basis, and the report, it has to share to the public on a regular basis. So that kind of mechanism should be implemented. So we really need to identify the governing body and for the sustainability of those MRB mechanism or MRB IT system for its long-term visibility. The component 4, it is the last component, and it is basically focusing on monitoring and evaluation, and also focusing on the knowledge management. So first, it will be focusing on sharing the knowledge product, or it is also focusing on organizing project inception, rollout, or compliance meeting to the national level, and also focusing on rollout of the project activity in the provincial level. And it will also track the result framework and annual work plan on a periodic basis. And since there are some requirement under ZEP, so we have to prepare quarterly, biannually, and annually report, both the programmatic and financial report. And there will be the annual review and reflection, and also the project evaluation. But to complete all those activity, we have a plan to include the wider stakeholder, not only the civil society organization, but also involve the research institutions, academic institutions, universities, and other key stakeholder who have that kind of position to support government in terms of monitoring, reporting, and verification of the greenhouse gas emission. And the second outcome activity, basically, it is focusing on producing the knowledge document, especially the best practices and the identified gaps or other policy briefs or articles that is also in plan. Similarly, the outreach and communication product will be developed and published. And there are some cross-learning activities are also planned under this project, like a cross-learning with the countries who are implementing CBIT or who have already implemented the CBIT project in their country. So some kind of learning sharing workshops or the program will be organized between some level of understanding between two government, especially the government of Nepal and the government of those project implementing country. And there will be in-country learning and sharing program. So for the first year, like we have planned to roll out this project in 3 provinces, but on a later stage, like we will organize series of discussion and workshop in all 7 provinces, and also the similar kind of programs will be organized at a national level to inform and engage a wider stakeholder and other government institutions. And the last one is a participation of the representative from thematic ministries in international forum and CBIT platform. So there are like some meetings in plan. So early next month, like there is a one event plan. So from Nepal, like there will be the representation from government of Nepal. But in the days to come, there will be other similar kind of event will be organized. And in that event, like we will like actively participate and also share our best learnings. At the meantime, we will try to get as much as information from those country who are already experienced in like drafting this BUR, BTR, and also already engaged in ETF activities. So this is the institutional mechanism we have developed so far. So to execute this project, there will be one project steering committee, and that project steering committee will be chaired by the Secretary of Ministry of Forest and Environment. And under the project steering committee, like there will be a national project director and national project coordinator, and all those team member will work as a project management unit under the climate change management division of Ministry of Forest and Environment. And there is also a kind of envision of having this project executive committee PEC. So this committee will include a larger community, like especially the focal points from the key sectoral ministry. At the meantime, it will also engage technical experts which will provide their regular support to the project management unit and also to the project steering committee. But at the meantime, like we have also envisioned that there will be some other government agencies who require to be a part of this project. Similarly, we will also ensure that there will be active participation and engagement of academic and research institutions. And since some of the activities that will not be of our control, and since we have a very little expertise on it, so to implement some activities, there will be technical assistance that will be procured during the implementation of project, and there will be other civil society organizations who will be engaged throughout the activity. And for the reporting and the financial management, also in-country financial management, WWF will be provide us some admin and financial support. But for the reporting to JEF, so WWF JEF agency will take in charge of it. So the during the preparation phase, so the project like it formed a project planning committee, and after that the consultation workshop was organized in all 7 provinces. That was held in early January and February 2019. Then there was a series of expert review and national consultation workshop and validation workshop was held to prepare the final product. And finally, we get succeeded, and now we have the CBIT project on hand. So for the roadmap, uh, uh, so review of project implementing and financial agreement, it's already been done. So now, like we are in process of for the establishment of project management unit setup. Then we will prepare a detailed project implementation plan, including working calendar. So it also includes the annual work plan, like for year 1, year 2, and year 3. So on the basis of annual plan, the CBIT launching CBIT project launching event will be held, and then it will go to the implementation phase. So in the implementation phase, like for the year 1, most of the preparatory work will be done, and more the inventory thing or preparation of baseline or the supporting of greenhouse gas inventory will be done in year 2, and subsequently the activity will be implemented. And similarly, the monitoring and reporting and monitoring will be in practice throughout the project period. So like so far, like we are still in inception phase, but we are very hopeful that soon we will be in implementation phase, because there is another deadline for this BTR, and for the BTR, CVIT is the basis because it will ultimately provide the information that's required to prepare the BTR. So we are very much hopeful that this project will be kick off very soon, and will work very closely together with the BTR team in Nepal. Thank you very much, and I would also like to thank Kedar sir and the team from Open University and Siva sir for your active participation in this program. I actually look forward to have a similar kind of coordinations in the days to come. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rajan. So it's really informative, and you have covered all the information related to the project. So it is really beneficial for the all the experts and stakeholders who involved from the Nepal. So this is the CBIT project that will be start in some few days. So you will get as much as benefit from this project, and Rajan is the key person from this project. You can contact him anytime. And I am posting the link of this our platform, where I upload all this presentation, so you can access it later sometime, maybe around 2-3 hours. So I will upload this all there. So if you have any question to Rajan, please feel free to ask anything related to the CBIT project or anything.
Hi. Thanks, Jaipal.
Hi,
My name is
Dr.
Hari Dungana. I work at Nepal Open University, and it was we had a brief meeting with Rajan earlier also in regard to the inception of this project. I'm curious to know whether on this on the rollout of this project, is there a space for enhancing capacity of research and academic organizations that will also contribute to the effort inside. So this is government is at the center, right? And whether they intend to support other institutions' capacity, research capacity in particular.
Yeah. So let me quickly respond this question. So yes, thank you, Ari sir, for your question. So yeah, definitely, there is a provision, or there is an activity that is planned to enhance the capacity of other stakeholder as well. So one, like Ministry of Forest and Environment is there, but at the meantime, this project is also intended to provide us some kind of support to the research institutions and other stakeholders, so that we could organize this greenhouse gas inventory work in a very effective and efficient way. So there will be a series of trainings and other capacity building activities in plan. But at the meantime, there will be some exchange program also, where we will have a kind of opportunity to exchange our discussion or our ideas or knowledge to other key agencies, other international key agencies. So
Yeah, thank you, Rajan, for answering the question. Thank you, Dr. Hari, for the question. And I think, Siva, can we also do there is a one activity of roster of expert in the UNFCCC. So maybe those people who are already involved in the BUR or national communication, you can involve them in the roster of expert. And when they involve in the roster of expert, they got to invite to attend some training it is a virtual training, so they may have to learn something. They will also attend some webinar, and through after practicing and after giving some exam, so they can understand and they can also train all the modalities and procedures of the UNFCCC reporting.
Yeah, sounds good. As long as people are interested in giving exams, I think, yeah, that would
Yeah,
also be.
it's yeah. Okay, then maybe we can move to the Santa. I will share your presentation, and yes, you can share the views of the ministry. Yeah, are you able to see the screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello and namaste to everyone. I'm Asanta Kumar Morjan. Currently, I'm engaged at Ministry of Forest and Environment, and I am responsible for the support to the implementation of the BUR and BTR project. Currently, Ministry of Forest and Environment is developing a biennial update report and biennial transparency report parallelly, and I'm engaged in that project. Yes, this is an outline of my presentation where I have given a brief overview about the Nepal's GHGI scenario, then what are the emission scenario, and what is the inventory arrangement in the past. I have given, and I have given a short description about the progress, achievement, and national commitments Nepal have made, and some of the challenges and limitation in GHG inventory, and the way forward for the improvement for the GHG inventory in the Nepal. Yes, so we of course know that Nepal became a party to the UNFCCC in 1992 June. Since the time, Ministry of Forest and Environment is acting as a focal agency to the UNFCCC, and the Ministry of Forest and Environment is the national authorized organization which is responsible for the different type of climate change programs in the Nepal. And since the time, and Nepal is submitting, and Nepal is involved in the different national commitments as a UNFCCC obligations. Continuously, it is reporting the different documents as a part of the UNFCCC necessity. And during the preparation of the greenhouse gas inventory, Nepal has obeyed the IPCC guidelines under the UNFCCC guidelines. Continuously, it is practicing as far as possible. The Ministry of Forest and Environment is following the guidelines of UNFCCC as well as the IPCC guidelines. And since the time, the Nepal has submitted 3 national communication. First national communication in July 2004, then the second national communication in the December 2014, then the third national communication recently on the June 2021. Here I have given a brief inventory report, and it's yes, we can move to the next slide. And now let's go to the greenhouse gas emission scenario in the Nepal. Since the beginning of the time, Nepal is considering the major 7 greenhouse gases like a carbon dioxide, N2O, methane, nitrous oxide, carbon monoxide, and the non-methane volatile compounds, and the SO2. These are the major gases Nepal is considering since the since the initial national communication. And during the time of the third national communication, Nepal has also included some of the data related to the HFC, PFC, as well as SF6 as far as possible. But due to the lack of the data quality or the reliability, the data are not so much reliable. But we have try our best to present the data on the gases also. But now in coming days, or in the preparation of the BTR, we have to also present the data on the NF3, which is also the challenges for us in the coming days also. And looking at the scenario, yes. Here I have given a brief overview about what is the emission scenario from the 4 different sectors, because the major sectors are the energy, IPPU, AFOLU, and the waste. And from the scenario, we can see that by the year or by the time interval, the emission has been seen as increasing. Like in case of the energy, from the 1994 to 2010, we can see that the emission scenario is in the increasing order. It is not for only the energy, for also the IPPU, also for the waste, it is in the increasing order. So that I think that looking at the scenario, we can say that the GHG inventory is the most necessity thing, and the transparent or the accurate GHG inventory can support the nation in the different way to address the climate change issues, because it will help to in the international communication and the international cooperation to gain the funding or to gain the different technical input or support from the international level. We can see that this scenario suggests us that emission is increasing, and the accurate and the transparency in the data is necessary in the coming days. And looking at the sectoral level, we can see also that from the energy sector, we can also see that the emission scenario of the carbon dioxide, methane, and the nitrous oxide is also in the increasing order. As well as moving to the next slide, also we can see from the IPPU also, it also shows that the emission is in the increasing scenario. And also in the case of the AFLU, we can see that in this case we have also that we have a good type of sink, because Nepal, we have, as we have mentioned the commitment in the NDC, that we will have a forest cover of 45%. 45%, and by the time we already have a 45% forest coverage, because and looking at the AFOLU scenario, that we have a good type of the sink of carbon dioxide or GHG in the nation, so we can grab this opportunity, or we can go through the different type of the climate financing mechanism to gain the different other supports also, so that looking at the emission, we also have the good type of the sink. Which is showcased by the AFLO. And from the waste sector also, so that because of the developing nation, and we do not have a good type of the waste management in the nation, so that in the case of the waste, also the methane, which is the mostly responsible for the GHG contribution, the methane emission is increasing in the different interval of time. So it is now the meantime, or it is now the urgent action is needed, so that the data should be reliable and data should be computed in the very efficient and the technological way, so we can report a good reports to the international level, and we can have a good negotiation at the international level also. Yes, next slide. And briefly, I have presented from the recent TNC, that from the recent national communication, third national here I have presented the data from the third national communication about what is the scenario about the carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide emission in the nation. As I think that we have also another important things we have to discuss. Let's not get engaged into this data, I think, so that we can skip to the next. Yes, this is also the emission scenario from the TNC. Yes, and this is the, and here I have presented a brief about the emission and removal scenario from the 3 different reports, like the 3 different national communication report. What is the emission and what is the removal scenario? Yes. Now comes to the national communication, the initial, second, and the third national communication. We have submitted the 3 national communication, and what we have done in this national communication, I have to give a brief information about that. Like in the initial national communication, which is presented in 1994 and 95, we have done the emission or the GHG inventory under the 5 category. By the category, whereas in the 2000 we have also done the 5 category, and also the memo items like international bunker and the biomass in production is also calculated into that time. But in case of the 2010 and 11, the calculation was done under the 4 category. And where in the first initial national communication, we have used the IPCC guideline from the 1996, which is also in the second national communication. But in case of the third national communication, we have used the IPCC guideline from the 2006. In the INC, only the 3 gases are considered, but in case of the second national communication, we have considered the 7 gases. But in the cases of the TNC, including the 7 gases, we have also considered the HFS, hydrofluorocarbons, as well as PFCs, as well as SF6. And also in the all 3 national communication, we have done the projection so that we can have a detailed idea, or we can have some type of policy or strategy work for those things. So we have done the projection also. Now comes to the major point of our today's work, that what is the GHG inventory arrangement in the Nepal, as the MOFE, Ministry of the Forest and the Environment, is the focal agency for the UNFCCC, as well as it is the focal agency for the climate change related works in the Nepal. Under the MOFE, there will be the formation of the technical expert groups. The technical experts group will be from the different line ministries, as well as from the other organizations which are working in the forestry sector or in the agriculture, or which are working in the research and developments. From that sector, we will get the nominees for the TEGs. So that they can support in the different works like GHG inventory, as well as in the NDC tracking in case of the BTR, as well as for the different type of mitigation and the adaptation report for the different report. And in charge of these TEs, then we will do the works like institutional mapping. Like what type of organization will be can support in the GHG work, or which are the organization we have to be look for the different type of data, because in case of the Nepal, the data is diverted or segregated at the different institution, and we have to collect that disaggregated data from the different location, so that the institutional mapping can play a vital role. So yes, then only we can have a good data in our hand, because we do not have a channelized system or any umbrella organization which can guarantee the reliability or authenticity of the data. So that is the major thing, as well as we have to depend upon the several type of literatures or the secondary data, because we do not have a system, proper system. Still, we do not have we have a very weak or the poor system of the data management. So we have to go through the different literature from the different scientific research, or from the different type of the papers from the different INGO and the NGOs or the research organization, which have done a different type of GHG inventory at a different interval of time. We have to look over those type of documents also. So in charge of those, we will do the institutional mapping and literature review. Then after those these things, then we comes to the inception workshop, where in the inception workshop we will give a detail about the GHG procedures regarding the UNFCCC guidelines and IPCC guidelines, so that how it will be carried out, how it will be prepared, and how it will be final documents will be prepared. Then comes the data collection and the database preparation followed by the computation. And all this type of the works under the MOFE, this will be done by the under the consulting team, because the MOFE as a single organization, we do not have big team, and we do not have all the technical experts and the equipments and all the things which we have necessary for the GHG reporting. So it will be done under the any type of the consulting or any research organization or any ABC service provider will do this type of works under the guidance of the MOFE and the TEGs. And after that, there will be the consultation workshop on the draft report to gain the different type of reviews and the feedbacks and the suggestion on the draft report. Then this collected feedbacks and the reviews will be incorporated in the draft report, and the final report will be prepared, and which will be circulated to the UNEP or the UNFCCC for the different type of review to enhance its quality and the final report will be submitted. Yes, we can move to next slide. Here I have presented a brief chart on what type of the national agencies or the what are the different type of the source we have gained the data in the Nepal. In the previous national communication, these are the organization we have consulted, and from these are the sources which have given us the data for the preparation of a GHGI inventory document. Yes, we can. And now in case of now ongoing project, means like a BUR and BTR, this is the ongoing project of the MOFE in case of the GSG inventory. And we are currently now at the forming, or we are getting nominees for the TEG. And these are, and we have considered this organization. We have the nominees from the Ministry of Industry, Commerce and Supplies, for the TEG, from the Ministry of Energy, Water Resources and Ministry of Agriculture, from other ministries also including the National Planning Commissions, or from the Water, Energy and Commission Secretary. Also the major, the central or the focal point of the statics, national statics for Nepal is the Central Bureau of Statics. From those also there is a nominee for the TEG, as well as there is the research organizations like a Central Department of Environment Science, TU, as well as the Institute of Institutions, TU, as well as the Department of Environmental Science and Engineering, Kathmandu University, are also coordinated for the formation of the TEG to support our BUR and BTR works. And from also the I have highlighted the major points from the third national communication, like what are the procedures we have applied in the last national communication for the GSD in the inventory. And in the third national communication, emissions were calculated from the 2011 to the 2014 for the mentioned GSG gases, where the IPCC guidelines as well as the IPCC good practice guidelines are also applied for the to ensure the quality of the report or the quality of the data. Yes, we can move to, and which is yes. Here we can see that the 2006 IPCC guidelines is is taken under the consideration for the GSG inventory during the third national conference, as mentioned by the JPAL, like IPC and UNFCCC has considered the transparency, completeness, consistency, comparatively, and accuracy. This formula for the quality or for the transparency of the report. And since the initial national communication, we have also tried to maintain these things in our report also as far as possible. And this is the equation which we use, which is given by IPCC. And here I have given that IPCC good practice guidance, and also by the these are used during for the quality assurance. Now comes to the some of the progress or achievements which are made by the Nepal through the GSG inventory. Like we have already a 45% of forest coverage. We have already submitted 3 national communications, and under the basis of the GSG inventory, some of the policies are directly or indirectly has been developed to address the climate change issues also. These are the policies and the regulations which are developed by the Nepal, which is in the influence of the GSG inventory. We can say that directly or indirectly, these policies or this type of act and the regulation are developed by those type of studies, or they are guided by those type of the documents also. Let's say now let's move to some of the commitments made by the Nepal in case which are related to the GSG emission or GSG inventory or situation in the Nepal. Nationally determined contribution of 2020 has said that in the energy sector by 2030 Nepal will increase its energy generation by the 15,000 megawatt, which is good for the to cut off the GSG emission in the Nepal, as well as in the transportation sector also, that 25% of all private passenger vehicles will be increased by 2025, as well as the 90% by 2030. This is also the one of the good commitments by the Nepal. Also, in case of the clean cooking, to reduce the GSG emission from the Nepal has targeted to 5 lakh improved cooking stoves in the Nepal, as well as the 2 lakh household biogas plants in the Nepal by 2025. As well, in case of FOLU, by 2030, 45% of the total area of country will be under the forest cover, and which is more or less now already we have achieved this target, like a 45% of the forest cover. But in case of the waste, also we have given some commitments in the NDC also. And also we have submitted a long-term strategy to the net zero emission by the Nepal. Also recently we have submitted this document, and then in this document we have a target, we have a goal to achieve a net zero emission from 2020 to 2030, and after a period of that we will have a full net zero by the 2045. We have that commitment in that long-term strategy document, as well as we have also at the part of adaptation communication, we have presented a national adaptation plan to the UNFCCC, and also in that document we have different type of short-term, medium-term, and long-term programs to maintain the GHG emission in the Nepal. Like a climate change policy of 2019, which is amended from the 2011, also have the concept of a low carbon emission developed in Nepal. Also, we have formulated the environment-friendly vehicle and transport policy, and now it is serving as a guiding document to promote the electric vehicles in the Nepal also. As well as not in case of the policy, as also in the fiscal budget. From the federal level fiscal budget, since some of the back time we are prioritizing the climate change issues as well as the GHG emissions. In the data shows that in the fiscal year 2021 or 2022, it has developed a policy to phase out the fossil fuel vehicles by the 2031. In the fiscal budget of 22 and 23, we have also the program has also targeted to promote the electric vehicles in all locations of the Nepal. Also in the current fiscal year budget, like 2023-24, we have targeted to provide electricity access to the 10% population in the Nepal, because currently all the households do not have hydropower or the electricity access to, but by the end of this period we have targeted. Also, there will be some special climate change related programs in the 43 local governments in this fiscal year budget. Now comes to the challenges and the limitation in case of the GHG inventory in the Nepal. First of all, a major challenge or the limitation is the GHG inventory is not the priority program of the national government. Because as a part of a national commitment, or as being a part of a UNFCCC organization, we are doing this work, or as the funding, because we as a developing nation we do not have a funds. As a developing winner, we don't have also the good type of the expertise over this, so that this is the one of the major challenge or the limitation of the nation. In addition to this, there will a major or another gaps is the data availability and the quality. We do not have a good type of data, and which is also not reliable, and they are also segregated, or they are at the many source. We have to collect that from the many source, and we also do not have the sufficient data from the very beginning of the time, and which are not reliable, as well as the institutional capacity. As being a MOFE, which is the government organization or the ministry, but although it's a ministry, we do not have those type of the expert we do not have a human resources which are dedicated for the GHG inventory. Frequently, here is the shuffling of the project staff, as well as the shuffling of the national authorities. In the shuffling of the national, the knowledge transfer is, or the institutional memory will be also erased, or that will be given the less priority. Due to this type of the institutional limited institutional capacity and less priority on the knowledge transfer, we have the issue on GHG inventory. Also, the lack of technical expertise and the resources in data management, in computation, inadequate understanding on international reporting procedure and guidelines. This is also the case. MRB is not developed. Till now, we do not have the MRB, and it is not institutionalized, which is also, as the Rajan has also mentioned, that the CBIT Nepal is now focusing or have given a priority to develop or institutionalize the MRB, which is the very key necessary to maintain the GHG inventory in a place, as well as the insufficient stakeholder engagement and coordination. In case of Nepal, yes, stakeholder engagement and coordination is very insufficient. And now coming to the way format, yes, I have also mentioned the MRB at the number one, because this is the key point. because which will help in the ETF, I think so. So that the MRV should be developed and it should be the institutionalized, so that then all the organization, all the segregated data will be collected at the single point, and we can have a good type of reporting. Should maintain and increase the international cooperation and partnership. Yes, for sure, we need an international cooperation and partnership. Policy implementation action oriented, since the policy will be developed, but they will be not implemented, so that the policy implement and the action oriented programs is very necessary, and the institutional arrangement and the capacity should be strengthened, or that should be the increase, and enhance the transparency of accuracy of the data. Maybe the development of the MRB will surely help in the transparency and the accuracy of the data, and research and development of the national emission factors and activity data to advance on the higher IPC, because we have already submitted the 3 national communications, but we are still dependent on the tier 1. So that now it's maybe the high time to move on to the higher tier or the advanced tier to maintain our accuracy and to transparency. So we need a research and development work on the emission factors as well as activity data. I think so that. So I have for sure, and this is all the things I have presented. But at the meantime, I want to request that Siva is also in this platform, so he can put further words or any additional work if it is needed, as well as my respected teacher, Professor Kedar sir is also here, and the Kedar sir is involved in the 2 subsequent national reporting process, so that the Kedar sir can also have some views over this. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Santa, for the very informative and brief presentation. So you have covered all the what the past work ministry has done and what are the future plan of the ministry. So yes, the first question Rajan has already raised. So please, Rajan.
Yeah. Thank you once again, Santa, and for this wonderful presentation. So, like, you have nicely covered all the baseline information about the communication report and the greenhouse gas emission. But my question is like looking to the presentation and whatever the roadmap you have designed and the challenges and the way forward you have mentioned, and looking to the CBIT project, I think we really need to have some kind of synchronizations between these 2 activity, because the whatever the challenges you have mentioned over there, is somehow linked to CBIT, and to facilitate those challenges or shortcomings. That's why the CBIT project was designed. And also, like in the way forward, you have nicely mentioned about this MRV mechanism and other necessity things to have this greenhouse gas inventory on place. So I think to begin with, I think rather than like moving these 2 projects independently, I think we really need to have some kind of coherence and coordination between these 2 projects, so that we could complement each other, not just the CBIT complement to BTR, but BTR also could complement to CBIT, so that we could have a like a efficient work at the end. And similarly, like since Kedar sir is also here, like who was engaged in second national communication report and third national communication report, and I had some kind of opportunities to work together with them. I think from these 2 presentation, I had a kind of learnings that we also need to figure out like how we could engage those kind of experts, like who have that kind of institutional memory, like especially in drafting BTR, and also to have this greenhouse gas emission inventory mechanism in place. So those are some kind of learnings rather than the questions. So maybe like in a days to come, we have to sit together and identify the common roadmap so that we could work together and also facilitate this process together. Yeah, thank you.
Yes,
Thank you,
Rajan.
Kedar.
Yes, Rajan, it is obvious that that working together will be it's very important to get this objective. Yes, we in coming days surely the MOFE will have some type of those programs for the integration of these 2 projects.
Thank you, Santa. Okay. So Let me share the last few slides of the presentation where I want to show you some example of the national inventory management system that are already exist in the some developed countries. So this is the example of US. So you can see that the first step is the data collection, then the emission calculation, then the compilation, and then the submission. This is only for the greenhouse gas inventory preparation part. So most of the procedures are systems are the same all over the countries, but just like Nepal has developed the task group, they have developed here is the group data collection for the each section. Similarly, Australia also has the same kind of energy sector, like some of the data source, then the inventory compilation, and then there is a submission. But they just used some software and the analysis they have developed for uh, preparation of this. When the in the Australia every 3 months the data was collected and the prepared and analysis process is going on. So they will come after the later stage. Initially they also do the kind of us, they collect the data at every 1 year, but now they are developed, so they are doing every 3 months, every 6 months. So this is an example of the UK. UK also got support from the Ricardo. It's a kind of the one agency which mostly handle the all kind of the inventory data. So they also have the statistical team, then the national steering committee, then there is the Ricardo and the other individual consultant. And every 15 before the 15 March, they completed the inventory, and before the 15 April every year they submit the national inventory. This is the example of India. There is also the 5 groups of the 5 sector: energy, agriculture, waste, and then there is other institute which handle the category wise institute which handle the emission preparation exercise. This is the example of Japan. They have a very brief and conservative model of the preparation of greenhouse gas inventory, where Ministry of Environment is of course the local focal agency of that all the preparation, and the under the ministry there are 3 institute which is NIS, CGER and GIO, which handle the all kind of preparation of report, either NIR or BUR or NC. There are also relevant in it ministry those who provide the inputs and the data and everything. And yeah, so this is the example of South Korea, specifically MRV example of the energy sector. So what they do, there is a statistic data comes from this kind of agency, natural gas, oil, electricity. Then there is a energy statistic published every year from this data, and or after the publishing, they also conduct the data gap. If there is any data gap, they can also adjust and doing some modeling and regression analysis. Then there is a Korean Energy Institute which data collection and do a quality control of all the data. After the quality control, there is also quality assurance by the ministry. This is the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Energy. And after they find that data is complete, it is ready to publish, then it probably go to the GEAR. GEAR is the Greenhouse Gas Inventory Research Center developed by the ministry. So they conduct the all and set up the all, and then prepare the draft report which go to the National GH Inventory Reporting System. After national NIRS approve the report, this report is okay, and then it will be ready. Then they also submit this report to the UNFCCC, OECD, and KOSIS. KOSIS is the also the Korean Statistical Information Service. So this is a kind of example, and every step they have developed the quality control check. So there is a they try to reduce the level of the error at each level. And yes, this is from the Republic of Moldova. They have a very good, they are like a kind of a system similar to Nepal. They have developed the task group for the each sector. And under the task group, there is a one major agency, which is a key ministry. And under the key ministry, there are different stakeholders who are involved for the different sectors. Okay, so this is the end of the webinars. And before ending today's webinar, I also need
Hi, Jaipal, before like
Uh,
you in the session, like I think there was some question from Kedar sir because like I saw like he just
okay.
turned on his camera. So yeah.
Yeah. So question is answer session is
Uh,
open.
okay, not really, but thank you because I learned a lot from all the presentation and the preparation of ministry. If in the days to come, is there any support I have involving since second and third communication, MRV and ETF also? We have developed the guideline ETF with the support of Climate Risk Nepal and NDC. If the ministry and the other struggle needed any support, we are very, as a university faculty, we are very open and to contribute this matter in the days to come. This is my, just I want to share this my opinion. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Kedar. It's really informative, and as per your experience, you are very useful resource for the ministry also.
Thank you.
So if there is any question, I am happy to answer. Otherwise, there is only one question through Menti where I need your feedback. So maybe we can, let me post the link of the feedback. So I can also take question when you are answering the feedback. Feedback is important for me, so I can tell my team also that yeah, we have done something with Nepal and either they are satisfied or not. If they are not, then we can also contact, we can take more feedback of you. You can just click on the link that I have posted in the chat, and yeah, let me wait one more minute. I think people are starting to vote.
So while people are
Yes, you.
voting, I think I would like to thank Jayapal for organizing this important meeting, and I'm also thankful to the presenters Santa and Rajan for sharing the project details, and also I'm very much thankful to all the colleagues for their active participation. And I'm hopeful that with the CVIT and other initiatives, we might be able to have some physical meetings anytime soon, because often this kind of virtual meeting is not that much
Yes.
um, that much handy in a way, but it's not like meeting and discussing in person.
Yeah.
So and thank you so much for organizing this, and I agree, this climate reporting field is really vast, and we can see from the presentation as well, where we try to focus only on GHG, but we often end up going for NDC and all other things. So thank you all.
Yeah. So thank you, Shiva, and thank you, the Rajan and the Santa for presenting the all detailed information regarding the Nepal. Uh, thank you so much. Thank you all the participants who take time and attending today's webinar. Uh, is there anything if anyone want to speak? You are please. Okay, I think we are ending today's webinar. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jaipal.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Hope to see you
Thank you.
soon.